Hey there, Mission Control. Well, we're going to continue our challenges series today, and we're going to talk about microgreens. Let's get started. Well, if you're brand new to the channel, like literally just joined, then where I'm walking right now to you is just empty space. But one of the major challenges we had with microgreens used to take up all of this space, and that was how to process the microgreens. Now, we went through a lot of different builds to deal with cleaning trays, which we still have that station right here. You still got to do that, and you got to keep those trays really nice and clean. So we actually use hydrogen peroxide and a pressure washer that we have right here, just an electric pressure washer, and spray everything off. This connects into our drain system, and we drain everything out, and then spray down the trays with hydrogen peroxide. Keep those nice and clean. We have our planting tables, which we still have, and our harvesting tables. They're right here. They used to be back here. But then we used to have our spinner to dry them. Oh, I'm sorry, a bubbler, excuse me. A bubbler used to be right here where we'd actually wash the microgreens. Then you'd have to spin them dry. And then right here, there used to be a drying rack that we built. And all of those things we put in place because we're using cocoa coir as our grow medium in the microgreens. And for the smaller microgreens like kale and radish, there's another one, broccoli. Oh, there's one more that we've tried. Anyway, the really smaller ones, that cocoa coir tends to stick to them. So if you want to have a nice looking, clean product, you got to wash it all off. And the washing, the drying, if you wash it, you need to dry it, otherwise it'll wilt. All those things were hugely problematic. They took a lot of time to clean. Cleaning is huge. Of course, you need to have a clean facility. That's why I'm wearing different shoes now, starting to wear different clothes out here. The animals are kicked out. Having our clean area and our dirty area where we can walk in the building in the dirty area and then transition to the clean area. I mean, we're doing all sorts of things to help keep this place clean and a lot more sanitary for food purposes. But one of the reasons we've turned away from microgreen microgreen production, distribution, and certification is because of all the labor that goes into cleaning and maintaining the hardware to actually process the greens. That was a huge challenge, and you can do it. It's very doable. You can work through those challenges, but we are deciding that that's just not, we have decided, in a previous video we talked about it, but that's not where we're trying to head. Microgreens are here just essentially to help us pay for this building, not as something that we're going to be doing forever and ever and ever. We learned how to do it, trying to do it better now, dealing with mold and fungus and all those types of things. But the production facility itself was a challenge. And if you're going to wash the microgreens, you got to dry them. So then you got to take care of all those things. So word of caution, those want to get into microgreens, be wary and have a plan to help deal with that. So let's talk about what our plan there is. So we've decided to go the raw egg way. So we talked about it in our previous video, but for those that are brand new, there's two legal definitions that we care about here. One is called food, one is called raw egg. Now these are legal terms. I'm not just using them in the fact that you eat food or you have something that's raw. No, these are legal terms. They mean something. They're very important, court of law type of stuff, law of the land. So let's go over them real fast. Food. If you grow something and then you harvest it, that's okay. That's not food. That's raw egg. If you wash it or mix it or change it from its original form that you grew it in, you transition into the food definition. Food definition of your product requires different handling because people expect that they can take food and eat it, which sounds totally stupid, but this is a legal term, without any processing, right? No washing, it's basically ready for eat. The assumption here when you have food, I think it's a bad assumption, but it's the way it is that it's ready to eat. Now for some things that makes total sense. Like if I go dry some fruit, I'm expecting that I can grab the fruit out of the package and eat it and not have to wash it first. That totally makes sense. But when it comes to vegetables, I've always been told, I never did a good job of it, you need to wash your vegetables first before you use them. Why is that? Because it's raw agriculture. No one's washed them. They were in the field, they grew, they got harvested. End of story. No one did anything with it. They touched it, they grabbed it, they put it into a package for you so that you could buy it at a store, but they didn't do anything to it. So in our case, in microgreens, the moment that we cut the microgreens, it was raw egg. But then when we took those microgreens and put them into the bubbler to wash them, it became food. It's actually kind of a gray area. We had the certification folks here from the state, and they agreed it's kind of a gray area. But just to, let's play it safe and be a little conservative on this one. As soon as you put it in the bubbler, and then you put it in the spinner, and then you dry it, you're no longer raw egg, you're food. Maybe you make an argument that says, you're still raw egg. Well, as soon as you mix it with a different version of a microgreen, you move fully into the food category. You know, all this has a bunch of food safety requirements. There's certifications that are needed for food safety. And more importantly, there's just an expectation from people that they can grab this stuff and eat it, kind of like a salad. They have those salad bags you can buy for lunch. Essentially have like a little thing of salad dressing, the croutons, and at least the ones I would buy would have croutons in them because I like croutons. But they're kind of ready. You just take the dressing cover off, dump it in there, shake it all up, and you can start eating it. That's food. That's kind of what people have come to expect. They see a bag, they're like, oh, hey, I'll just open it up and start mowing down on the stuff. So you got to just deal with those expectations, and that's a big challenge when you're going to be growing produce and selling it at a large volume like what we were hoping we could do, but have since decided to shy away from so we can focus on aquaponics and system development. Oh, I see my fan isn't plugged in here. That's a problem. Get that plugged back in. We were cleaning and we had them turned off. There we go. Plug that bad boy back in. Now, speaking of fans, if you've seen our fungus video where we talk about mold and the problems that we were having there, we actually have 6 fans in this building, 7 if you include the exhaust fan that we put in, and those fans are here to help move the air around. Now, air movement is hugely important when you're dealing with microgreens, but one of the things that our experiments have found is that the air movement like we have right here, it really doesn't make that big a difference. And it doesn't matter if the microgreens are really close to the fan or really far away. There was something else there. What could that have been? Watering. This is our water wand. Got the water turned off right now. Don't need it because all the microgreens are out of here while we clean up everything. But we were doing top-down watering, and we're doing that just because we haven't got to dealing with how we're going to water the microgreens officially yet, and we're trying again to make the money to help pay for all this. But the challenge with watering that we see so far is what time of day do you water, the quantity and consistency of that watering, and the temperature in the building. And I think those are all, well, duh statements, and hindsight being what it is, those are all good things. If you've never really grown anything, you might be aware of the importance of these things, but you may not know how sensitive things are to even slight deviations in the norm of the schedule of watering and the quantity. So we were watering later in the day, past noon, and what we think is going on is that the microgreens, they have this little microclimate going on, and if you water too late, then the water doesn't get a chance to actually evaporate throughout the day. Now we have the fans and everything's moving the fans and doing all those good things with the air, but if you water too late and the light goes down at night, of course you lose light, and then the temperature goes down at night, you make a perfect environment for mold. So the way we do watering is going to be something you're going to see coming up the next video. Actually, we're going to talk about shifting from top-down watering to bottoms-up watering. Hugely important. We think it's the right move. We think it's really going to save our bacon and get us back into production with microgreens. Well, that's kind of it. I think you can go back and check out some more stuff, but just this is a good summary of the challenges we've had with microgreens. Now in our next video, we're going to be going over the bottoms-up watering system that we've chosen. We'll go into that in more detail, so stay tuned for that. We also have Mrs. Martian is going to be doing another video again on updating us on the fungus and everything that's going on there, so stay tuned for that. And I've got a whole bunch of videos we're going to be going over, more challenge videos as well as the ball valve replacements, lighting updates that we're doing. Lots of cool stuff coming, so I'm excited to share those things with you guys. I really appreciate everybody who's helped us out on GoFundMe and on Patreon. Right now, that money really does help. We're losing, well, in heating, we're losing $1,600 a month right now for heating because we don't have production up and running. So again, I thank everybody out there. A very heartfelt thank you for those who have donated on GoFundMe and on Patreon. I just wanted to say that. I try to reply to each of your emails. Well, I get notified when you donate. I try to reply to each one of them. But I just wanted to give a big shout out to you guys in the video. Thank you so much. It really means a lot. Thanks to all of our friends who have reached out and helped us as well. Really, really grateful for that help. We're going to get through this. We're almost there. So I hope you enjoyed this video about microgreen challenges. We're going to address one of the big ones here in the next one, the bottoms up watering. Hope you join us for that. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to give us a thumbs up and hit subscribe. Don't forget that you can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and on Patreon. In the meantime, everyone, this is The Real Martian. Out.